There was something about the silence in that house that felt alive, as if every wall breathed with secrets too heavy to speak, and every shadow held the memory of something that once begged to be remembered. The town called it the Hollow House, a name born from whispers and warnings, where children dared each other to knock on the door, but none ever crossed the threshold. Not since the night Evelyn Moore vanished, leaving behind nothing but a broken locket and a half-burned letter. They said she loved too deeply, a man who never loved her back, and when he left, she stayed behind, clinging to the ghosts of what could have been. The years turned her grief into something darker, something that spread through the floorboards and bled into the very air. No one really knew what happened inside those walls, but everyone could feel it, the sadness, the hunger, the pull. When I first stepped into that house, it wasn't out of courage, but desperation. My sister, Lily, had been missing for 3 days, and the only clue she left behind was a note written in trembling handwriting. I heard her singing again. I didn't want to believe the stories, but when I pushed open that creaking door, the cold hit me like a memory, and the scent of rain-soaked wood and faint perfume filled the air. The furniture was still there, covered in white sheets like forgotten corpses, and the wallpaper peeled like dead skin. Each step I took echoed through the hollow space, and the silence followed me like a living thing. I called Lily's name, but the house didn't answer, only listened. There was a piano in the corner, its keys yellowed and cracked, and for a moment I swore I saw the lid move just slightly, as if someone had been playing seconds before I arrived. I felt my chest tighten, my breath shallow, and I kept walking deeper into the house, drawn by something I couldn't explain. Upstairs, the air grew thicker, and I felt it, then a soft humming. A woman's voice, distant and tender, singing a lullaby that twisted itself around my ribs. It wasn't beautiful. It was heartbreaking. It was the kind of song that made you remember every loss you ever tried to forget. I followed the sound to a small room at the end of the hall, where the walls were lined with photographs, hundreds of them. Some were burned, some torn, but every one of them showed the same woman, Evelyn Moore. Her eyes were sharp, almost alive, and even through the faded paper, I could feel her gaze cutting through me. On the floor lay a mirror, cracked and fogged with dust. When I looked into it, I didn't see my reflection. I saw Lily standing behind me, her face pale, her lips trembling, and her eyes empty. I turned around, but the hallway was empty. My hand shook as I touched the mirror again, and this time Evelyn's face appeared beside hers, her mouth forming words I couldn't hear, but my heart understood. Stay. The room began to shift, the walls breathing, the floorboards groaning under invisible weight, and the photos began to fall, one by one, as if gravity itself rejected them. I ran, but the house seemed endless now, the corridors stretching into darkness that swallowed every ounce of light. I could hear Lily crying somewhere ahead, calling my name in a voice that wasn't quite hers. And though my body screamed to leave, my heart dragged me forward. I found her in the living room, sitting at the piano, her fingers moving across the keys as tears streamed down her face. The melody was the same haunting lullaby, and behind her stood Evelyn, her form flickering like a flame on the edge of burning out. "She won't let me go," Lily whispered without turning, her voice small, almost childlike. I reached for her, but my hand passed through her shoulder like smoke. Evelyn's eyes met mine, and in that instant I felt everything: her heartbreak, her loneliness, her endless waiting. She wasn't haunting the house, she was the house. Every wall, every echo, every whisper was her. "You came back," she said, her voice layered with sorrow and rage. "And you'll stay." The floor split beneath me, the sound of wood tearing like flesh, and I fell into darkness that felt endless. When I woke, I was still in the house, but it was daylight now, and everything looked normal, peaceful even. The sheets were gone, the dust vanished, and the piano gleamed as if freshly polished. I heard footsteps, and there was Lily, alive, smiling. "You found me," she said softly, and for a moment I believed everything was over. But then she handed me the same locket that once belonged to Evelyn and whispered, "It's your turn to remember." I tried to leave, but the door wouldn't open. The windows showed nothing but fog. The town had moved on, they said. The house had been demolished years ago, burned to ashes. But sometimes, late at night, when the wind carries the right kind of silence, people still hear a piano playing from somewhere that no longer exists, and a voice humming a lullaby that makes the air colder, heavier, lonelier. They say it's just the wind. I know better. I've been here ever since, trapped between memory and regret, between love and loss, watching others come and go, hoping someone might finally set her free, or maybe just join her. Because that's what this house doesn't take lives, it collects heartbreak. It feeds on promises, on people who couldn't let go, on those who believed they were strong enough to face their ghosts. I used to think horror was about monsters and blood, but it's not. Horror is remembering something you swore you forgot. It's realizing the dead Dante haunt us because they hate us, they haunt us because we made them promises we never kept. And so I sit by the piano, my hands moving in the same rhythm Evelyn once played. My sister humming beside me, and I understand it now. The house isn't cursed, it's lonely. It just wants to be remembered. So if you ever pass by the edge of Hollow Creek and feel the wind hum a familiar tune, don't follow it. Don't listen, because if you do, you'll remember someone you lost, and the moment you remember, the house will remember you. And once it does, it never lets go.